My lazy gold making method was created in January this year, and it's about time we're coming near to the end of this year to revisit this and see what I'm doing as my lazy gold method. Let us begin. Okay, so when it came towards my lazy gold making method, I had quite a list of farms in which I actually did. Starting off with my farming, my druid is currently still doing the Battered Hilt gold farm. This is because pretty much every week I get around about 2 to 3 battered hilts, which net me around about 20 to 60,000 gold depending on the given week. It has a drop chance of 0.2 all the way over to 0.8%, and with all the trash mobs in the Pit of Sauron on heroic difficulty, we have to bear in mind with that, has been working out producing reliable gold each and every week. This is why it's still on my lazy gold making method. Now on to the next one. Along with the Battered Hilt, we also have the Sealed Tome of the Lost Legion. Now this goes as shows that I preferably love doing this gold farm, mainly due to the fact that my Warlock is the only type of class that can actually farm this up, and it nets us in a decent amount of gold each and every week. This gives us around about 7 minutes to do a complete lap of the Isle of Thunder, and with that being said, I can log on each and every morning, know that the rares will be up because I wake up like insanely early in the morning, do a complete lap in 7 minutes, and I have a 2% chance to get from any of those mobs the Sealed Tome of the Lost Legion. The only thing with this gold farm that you need to bear in mind is the unique ability on the said item. So then once you've actually got it, you've got to post it or put it in a mailbox or in a guild bank, otherwise another one will not drop on that same run, or if you keep holding it in your bags. As it's unique, you won't be able to loot any more of that particular item. That being said, at a 2% drop chance, that's pretty dang good, and for 7 minutes per day it's working out quite nicely. Along with the Battered Hilt, which takes me roughly about 17 minutes, this is well under half an hour in order to do this particular gold farm. Now the Sealed Tome of the Legion varies on price, however it's actually been netting me around about 15,000 all the way over to around about 20,000 gold for a 7-minute lap every single day. So overall, throughout a given week I get around about 2 to 3, same as the Battered Hilt, and it just works out really well to pulling in steady gold each and every day without doing much work at all. Which goes as follows. With my next one, which is with my Demon Hunter, he's currently in the Blasted Lands and he's still farming up the Dragonflight Spheres and the Dragonflight Fragments. Now these drop from any of the rares in the actual area of the actual particular zone. You can see a spawn location of each and every rare spawn in the vicinity of this particular zone, and that means that you can farm these guys up in a nice little loop shaped fashion, and you'll be able to pick up a decent amount of Dragonflight Spheres and Fragments. They're given into the quest giver in the same zone in order to give you some rare and transmog items, in which you can either sell the quest items directly on the auction house, or you can trade them into the vendor like I've just stated, and then gain the transmog from that and sell those on the auction house. Preferably for me, I'm very lazy with this method, so it's just farming up the quest items and letting someone else try their RNG with that, and I just pull in the gold through that. Following on to my warrior Iranos, he basically has the Crash and Thrashin toys still on his character. This roughly takes me around about 2 minutes per day, so for 2 minutes per day for an item that varies in price from around about 2,000 to 10,000 gold depending on the given week or month, then we can farm up Dracum for a 9% chance at coordinates 83.6 to 43.6 in Tanan Jungle. The same goes as follows with Gondar at 8% for a 80.6 to 56.4, and a Smash 'em Grab, which is the most heavily farmed one because it's the easiest one to find, at a 10% drop chance of 88.0 to 55.8. These guys can drop any 3 different types of Crash and Thrashin toys, which average around about 2 to 10,000 gold, and that just works out really well for a 2-minute farm. I have roughly around about a 10% chance of getting them for 3 chances per day, and that just locks me for the day on that character. So for 2 minutes works out really well, hence why I've kept it with my lazy gold making method. The next one goes as follows with my Death Knight Nestragosa. She is farming up the 𝐆𝐀𝐌𝐄 from the rare 𝐆𝐀 at the coordinates 13.6 to 51.0 at an 100% drop chance for the 𝐆𝐀𝐌𝐄 mount, which you can sell in the auction house from anywhere from about 200 to 1,000 gold, and it's an always type of thing. So whenever I log onto my character, I always have a chance of getting a hold of that mount and then selling that on. So no matter what time I log on, 𝐆𝐀 is basically always up because it's a 16 to 20 minute respawn timer. You don't really want to camp the mob because then the hourly rate doesn't work out that well. However, if you're just doing a quick log each and every day over the span of around about 30 days, if we went to the max, it's around about 30,000 gold out for literally just a log. You literally log on, kill the mob, get it, log off. It's less than a minute in order to do, and I just highly recommend people to just farm this because it's just easy gold for a mount that sells relatively fast. Along with that, when it comes towards my later gold making method, I still do my crafting, and this goes as follows. My crafting is with my mage, 𝐆𝐀𝐌𝐄. He is my tailor and enchanter along with my cooker, and he just provides a ton of value with all of that. At the moment I'm finding mounts are quite valuable, so the flying carpet just seems to sell even though I keep ramping up the amounts that I'm producing per day, and they just seem to sell on the day, so works out really well. Along with that, I've been reiterating and rebuilding on my TSM profile. Link is in the description for my Patreon for that. However, I've been building up on that and I've seen significant sale increases in shirts, bags, and mounts to go along with that, and even some low-end TBC transmog has been selling quite well with that as well. When it comes towards my druid, Corthana, her smelting is set up so in which she can just smelt a load of bars if they become cheap enough, and they're literally, you have to smelt it the day you press restock, otherwise you're going to lose the gold, so you need to do that one ASAP. She takes precedent when it comes towards crafting as she's smelting bars, so the faster you can smelt those bars and relist for that price of profit, then it is worth your time in order to do. The next up when it comes towards my characters is 𝐷𝐿𝐺𝐺, me Demon Hunter with leatherworking. Leatherworking's doing really well. All of the other two different types of drums are selling quite well at the moment for me. When it comes towards that, it doesn't take me that long to restock, and overall I'm finding that vanilla based transmog seems to sell quite well with leatherworking at this moment in time. Along with that, we have my Warlock, Nyros, with blacksmithing. Blacksmithing is one of those ones where you just craft a bulk load. Anything crafted by the Black Anvil, for some reason, just because you have to go over to the Black Anvil in Black Rock Depths, it's just one of those ones where you're just like, oh, the price like quadruples. However, I'm finding that I'm selling a lot more Sulfuron hammers, and I'm also finding that a lot of the BFA gear is selling quite well in order to pull regular gold at the same time. To bring that on to my next one, which is Zathrash, my rogue, I leave the last two for last, which is my alchemist and inscription. He basically is pounding out the glyphs at the moment because glyphs are just going crazy at this moment in time, and I'm trying to gather as many glyphs as possible because I looked the other day, Legion glyphs, I really failed on getting them, so I need to actually just keep going and trying to get all of that done. Along with that, when it comes towards alchemy, I'm finding pots are working quite well, specifically Mr. Pandaria for some reason. I'm not too sure, but the sell rate's really good, so it's just working for me, so I'll just take it, you know, free gold. And with inscription, I'm finding a lot of the glyphs, and even some of the Vantis runes are still selling from like BFA, and Shadowlands are still selling quite well in the grand scheme of things. Along with that, when it comes towards my last thing, which is my all-time favorite, is my dual crafting and engineer from my paladin, 𝐷𝐿𝐺𝐺, with a little accent over the A. He's actually working really well with his panther mounts. I'm finding that the onyx panthers are working really well. Gems are kind of hit or miss at the moment, so it depends if they're profitable and I can pull that out. like again, BFA gems or cuts are working quite well in that sense. Prospecting loads of stuff at the moment is proving quite profitable. However, when it comes towards engineering, basically everything is selling. I'm like crafting like stuff from the old world and like current, and it's just all flying off the table. I'm quite happy with that. But mainly due to the fact that like gnomish engineering and goblin engineering requires a load of mats, and if you just craft those, you're going to get decent sales because people generally want to craft those mounts. So that being said, this is working quite well for me. It usually takes me roughly around about an hour, give or take the day, but about an hour a day in order to do my farming and my crafting, and it just works really well before work, and I can pull in a decent chunk of gold with that. So that is the lazy gold making method revisited with farming and crafting in mind, and that's how I'm making gold at this moment in time. Other than that, have an awesome rest of the day, and I shall see you in the next video, which will be soon.